So finally we're here. I said, well, I'm sure everybody who played Classic said TBC was going to launch. It was almost inevitable. But I did mention this from a Druid perspective a month ago, something like that. So let's talk about the what. Like what do we know? What do we know? We know a survey went out yesterday, maybe the day before, asking what we want. So what do we want? How would we launch a TBC server? Do we want to play TBC? There's only two questions. They was on both. So I'll put those on screen now. So if I just...
Okay, so let's just get straight into this. So let's have a look at... Firstly, the first question I'll just put on screen now. It's really basic. Basically, they're asking us, do we want TBC or don't we? I want to spend a lot more time on the second question, which is a lot more relevant. So thinking about the potential ways a player could start a character in Classic Burning Crusade, which of the following would you prefer most? So I'll briefly just go over the options first, and then I'll give you my opinions on them all. So continue to play my current Classic character on my existing server as it progresses to the Burning Crusade expansion, with the option to transfer to a Classic server that will never progress past level 60. Or the next option is continue playing my current Classic character on my existing server that will never progress past level 60, with the option to transfer to a Burning Crusade server. Start a brand new character from level 58 on a new Burning Crusade server, or start a brand new character from level 1 on a new Burning Crusade server, or none of the above. So, yeah, let's just focus on the four, not none of the above, because I could technically talk about that for about the next 6 months. So, continue playing my current Classic character on my existing server as it progresses to the Burning Crusade expansion seems like the logical option to me, but this is going to be largely based on what we say to Blizzard. So what the response to the first question is. I think the first one makes more sense than any of the others, if I'm honest with you. But it is going to largely come down to what we say to Blizzard in response to the first question, because the way I see it is, if 70% of the population say yes, we want TBC, which I personally think it'll be more than that, but I could be wrong. So if 70% say they do and 30% say they don't, then it makes sense to keep 70% of the player base on the existing server they're already on to progress onto TBC, and then you've still got the majority of the guilds around that you're used to seeing, and the economy is already stable. All of the things that we're sort of used to that weren't around on a fresh server launch, basically. It takes quite a while for the economy just to balance itself out, which, just skipping forward to the starting from a level 58 character, I think that's where that could cause problems personally, because now we're going to have a server full of, no one's done the 1 to 58, so there's going to be a lot of sort of key things you're used to finding on the auction house, because people are doing that, the level from 1 to 58, that the economy will take ages to sort itself out, because you're relying on people then starting alts once they've got to 70, which is going to take a while as well. But going back, so I say it comes down to really the percentage that want it to not wanting it. So if it was on the other way round, so say 70% didn't want it, now it makes sense to go with a second option. So now it makes sense to go with the second option, because we want to keep the 70% population on the Classic realm, and let the 30% that want to play move off onto a TBC server and start, either from 1 or from 58. That's just my opinion on the question anyway. As I say, I think starting from 1 or 58 on a brand new TBC server would be the wrong move. I know there's a large player base that like the fresh server feel. So if you was going to do a fresh server fill, then it needs to be from level 1, in my opinion. Starting from level 58 on a brand new server just seems a bit strange to me, a bit of an odd thought, even for them to have even put it as an answer. But hey, that's just my opinion. So my personal, how I feel it should go is the first one, obviously. I can't wait for TBC. I've mentioned it in a couple of videos already. I'm going to start really ramping up TBC content as we get closer to release as well. Obviously raid guides, class guides, all that sort of thing. I'll be planning on Endless a fair bit to sort of do some research on things that my memory might be a bit sketchy on. But overall, yeah, it's great news, and I think it's going to be a welcomed expansion, definitely for the majority of the player base.
So we've got the what, but what about the why? Why do we want it? So I've done a why from a druid perspective, but I mean, why doesn't even really need to be asked. I mean, TBC brought class balance, more interesting raids, more interesting dungeons, so many rep grinds. Rep grinds were quite harsh in Classic, but in TBC the rep grinds they had meaning. You know, you done rep grinds for attunements, for the ability to do heroic dungeons, things like that. So let's have a quick look at why a rep grind was good. Well, I don't want to say a rep grind. Why was the whole progressive system in TBC good?
Okay, so yeah, looking at the moment, so this is the Cenarian Expedition rep, and I mean, look at all the rewards, and I mean, well, look at Earth Warden. You know, I did say this would be a bit druid bias, obviously. I mean, 712 attack power, defense, expertise, loads of armor and stamina. You know, it's beautiful. You know, it's a great weapon to be able to get just from a reputation. And then you start getting like, Kodo hide robes. There's all these, you know, well itemized pieces of gear, which all classes, you know, majority of classes have got a use from each reputation. But I mean, like I said, a reservoir key, which is a revered, that gets you in the heroic dungeons. So that'll open up underbog, slave pens, and steam vaults on heroic. So whereas at the moment in Classic, the reputations are quite long and boring to actually do, and then they've only got that, you know, like one good reward with maybe not much reason to do it. You know, if you're not bothered about a specific mount or you're not bothered about whatever, you know. Whereas in TBC, reputations are important. You know, they're an important part, like gear path, because you know you can start getting like some of the best pre-raid items from just grinding reputation, and you know that can be from questing or doing their respective dungeons and then doing them on heroic. You know, eventually you're going to want to get exalted with them all. So if we have a look, so we've looked at Cenarian, let's have a quick look at the sha'tar. Yeah. So if we have a quick look at the sha'tar, what we get from these, so again, a couple of epics, a nice epic shield, you know, for your paladin or your warrior. You know, 2 sockets on it as well. I mean, an amazing healing weapon, look at that. For nearly 300 healing power and mana per 5 and stamina and intellect. And obviously, the Warp Forge key to get into the heroic difficulty of Tempest Keep heroics. But my point here is, you know, and you can see like the flask recipes and stuff like that. You know, it's a requirement. It's not just a nice to have. You know, you don't do this reputation grind and just be like, oh, you know, this is cool. You know, it's an absolute necessity for all classes that want to progress their character to actually do these reputation farms, which I think's quite good. And as I say, most of it comes pretty natural, you know, just from playing anyway. It's not like some long slog that you're going to have to do. You know, it literally, you'll just do it as you play. This is just a quick segment on this, because I think it's important that people, you know, understand the good things that are coming.
So, you know, we've got it's coming. We know it's coming. 99% sure it's coming. Unless the majority of you said no, don't want TBC, which, why would you say that? I mean, I'm not trying to influence your opinion, but why would you say that? You know, TBC was, it brought a lot of specs to life. Wrath of the Lich King, arguably, for me, probably favourite expansion. So let's get TBC, then hopefully we'll get Wrath of the Lich King. It had some of the most iconic raids. So what iconic raids did Wrath of the Lich King bring?
So come then, you heroes. Come in all your power and glory. For in the final hour, all must serve the one true king.
Father, is it over?
At long last. No king rules forever, my son.
I see. Only darkness before me.
Without its master's command, the restless scourge will become an even greater threat to this world. Control must be maintained. There must always be a Lich King.
The weight of such a burden. It must be mine, for there is no other.
Tyrion! You hold a grim destiny in your hands, brother. But it is not your own.
Bulva! By all that is holy.
The dragon's flame seal my fate. The world of the living can no longer comfort me. Place the crown upon my head, Tyrion. Forevermore, I will be the jailer of the damned.
No, old friend. I cannot.
Do it, Tyrion! You and these brave heroes have your own destinies to fulfill. This last act of service is mine. I must be forgotten, Tyrion. If the world is to live free from the tyranny of fear, they must never know what was done here today. Tell them only that the Lich King is dead.
Okay, so what does it mean for you? So, So we're saying Blizzard have sent a survey out. Brilliant. We think we're going to get TBC. Very sure. I would say if we're getting TBC, that probably means we're going to get Wrath. I would probably say we'd go as far as Mr. Pandaria. Absolute maximum. Although I loved Warlords of Draenor. Don't worry, I'm not about to get into Warlords of Draenor content, but I loved Warlords of Draenor. I thought it was brilliant. I loved Garrison's follower missions, getting your followers and stuff like that. I thought that was brilliant. So then the only option is Classic Plus. If we don't, I mean, you've heard this, probably you watch loads of YouTube channels, loads of YouTubers, they talk about Classic Plus, TBC. We know we're getting TBC now. It's inevitable. The devs are thinking about it. It's easy. They've got all the content there. They just need to maybe fine tune a few things, put it out on the top patch level so everything's balanced. It's the right decision to make. So if you didn't get TBC, what would you want? Would you want Classic Plus? If you had Classic Plus, what would it look like? Tell me in the comments. But for me, it's TBC all the way. It's amazing. Let's face it. Quick, I'll tell you what, let's have a little quick look over what you get in TBC.
It saturated every fiber of our being. In the warmth of its glow, we thrived. Until the shadow of death fell upon us. After the Sunwell's destruction, did we realize how dependent we'd become upon its magic.
I was happy then, at peace. I remember too the day the orcs came. A day marked by cries of war and torrents of blood. When terrified women and children huddled in darkened corners. I led many to safety, but many more paid the ultimate price.
The elves took my eye. I cut off my own arm to escape them. And now they fight alongside the Horde? I spit on the Horde! I hate you. I hate you all. But I got a surprise for you now. So come on in. Diamani never give up. We never forget. We never die. This is our land. You wanna stay? You stay here forever. We gonna bury you here.
But Illidan's agenda was short-sighted. I grew impatient. In secret, I began harvesting what energies I could. I had a brief taste of true power. Before it was taken from me. But all is not lost. The Sunwell's essence endured, kept hidden by those who sought to protect it. Now, I have returned with the knowledge that sacrifices must be made.
I hope you enjoyed my opinions on TBC. We know it's coming. We've had it announced now. I hope you're excited for it. I am really excited for it. I'm more excited for it than I am for Phase 5 or Phase 6, to be fair, because, yeah, don't get me wrong, AQ is going to be brilliant, Nax is going to be brilliant, but Karazhan's going to be so much better. So, I will see you all in Outland. Make sure you like and subscribe. Peace out.